Hello, my name is Jackie, and welcome to the first and quite possibly last episode of Very Professional Thoughts, a name I thought of about 5 minutes ago. So that just indicates how professional of an operation I'm intending to run here. This is basically a series in which I splurge random thoughts into a microphone and maybe something coherent will come out at the end of it, or it'll just be a massive waste of time. But we'll have to see together. Today I'm here to talk about Code Geass. More specifically, Code Geass' first recap movie, Lelouch of the Rebellion Awakening, which is the first of a series of recap movies that's been released. So coming into this, I had no previous experience with Code Geass. I think I might have seen like one episode of the TV series a few years back, but that's about it. So I was intrigued to come into this just because I find Code Geass interesting just from a broader perspective of pop culture relevancy in the and inside the anime community, because ever since it aired in about, I want to say 2007, 2008, Code Geass hasn't stopped being relevant both in Japan and in the West. Like if you go onto websites such as My Anime List, it's still like one of the highest ranked shows both for popularity and in terms of sheer ratings. And I think after watching this movie I can see why that is the case, because just from a technical level, I think Code Geass is one of the grandest spectacles I've seen in quite a long time, and I mean that in a good way. It's silly, it's over the top, but it knows what it is, and it just embraces itself so well that it's hard not to get caught up into it. And also I think another reason why is because of the whole mind game dynamics at play here. Now most of the time I find mind games to be pretty, well, ridiculous just by their inherent nature, because I'm not really sure why. Like, it's something I really want to figure out for myself, but it's just something I've never really got along with. Like, part of the reason why I think 2017's Death Note live action movie, why I enjoyed that so much, is because it just highlights just how silly both mind games are and how much they're so well respected and within communities. But I nearly got on board with Code Geass just because of that sheer ridiculousness. Like, if you think about many of the characters' ideologies for more than like 5 seconds, they fall apart. But it translates you into a state where it's almost like it doesn't really matter just because of the whole sheer ridiculous nature of it. And I think part of that is just, and I think Lelouch as a character just embraces that so well. Like, he's an individualist. Everything is just for his own gain. Everything is like a fucking chess metaphor for him. But I think that's something that lots of people can project onto himself, which is why it's just stayed so popular and relevant. And I also think like Jun Fukuyama's voice performance as Lelouch is really captivating. Like, it's hard not to root for him, even though I know that's not what I should probably do, but it succeeds in that regard. And I think another reason why is just because of how international and relevant of a story it is, even just on its pure basics. Like, it's a story about imperialism and someone trying to by themselves stand up to it and be the change. And I think it's something that all of us has thought of at some point in our lives. Like, ever since I was a kid, I knew I wanted to be like this great leader for some reason. It's something I'm not really into now. But yeah, I think it's something that lots of people think about even to this day, especially with our current world climate of everything being a bit fucked up, really. So overall, I think Code Geass it taps into lots of different mindsets of lots of different people, and it doesn't want to go too deep into these things, but I also think it's something that not any old person could come up with just because of how many different dynamics are at play here, and just because I also believe that there was lots more emotional depth to these characters than I was expecting going into it. But yeah, overall, I'm glad that I went and saw this movie to get a better understanding of what Code Geass is about and what Code Geass means to so many people, even if I think that meaning is pretty ridiculous and inherently flawed after thinking about it for a few seconds. But I would like to see more of this series, and I might return to it another day. And I don't know how to end Random Thoughts.